Portuguese Grand Prix returns to the Formula One schedule in 2020 for the first time in decades at the spectacular Algarve International Circuit. Formula One's World Championship history in Portugal stretches all the way back to the 1950s. The treacherous Boa Vista street circuit in Porto, which featured cobbled streets and tram lines, played host in 1958. That first race provided one of the most famous moments in the sport's history. Stirling Moss and Mike Hawthorn were battling for the World Championship. Officials ruled that Hawthorn had restarted his Ferrari against the direction of the circuit after going off. But race winner Moss witnessed the incident and told the stewards to reverse their decision, saying Hawthorn did nothing wrong. Hawthorn's reinstatement meant he beat Moss to the title by 1 point at the end of the season. Moss won again in 1959, this time at the Monsanto Parkland venue in Lisbon, in a Rob Walker-run Cooper. Jack Brabham won in a Cooper at Boa Vista in 1960. A race that featured John Surtees' first pole and Jim Clark's first podium finish. It was the last World Championship Portuguese Grand Prix until 1984, when it moved to the purpose-built Estoril circuit near Lisbon. Alain Prost won that year's finale, but second place for his McLaren teammate Niki Lauda resulted in the legendary Austrian's third title by just half a point. In 1985, Ayrton Senna won his maiden Grand Prix for Lotus, a brilliant drive in appallingly wet weather conditions. Nigel Mansell won in 1986 for Williams. Prost's win eclipsed Jackie Stewart for the all-time most Grand Prix victories in 1987. And Prost won again in 1988, but only after McLaren teammate Ayrton Senna had forced him towards the pit wall as he overtook, sparking their feud. Ferrari's Gerhard Berger won in 1989, after Mansell, who was black flagged for reversing in the pit lane, collided with Senna. Mansell triumphed for Ferrari in 1990, his last win for the prancing horse. Riccardo Patrese won for Williams in 91, after a botched pit stop for Mansell caused him to be black flagged again. Mansell was victorious again in 1992, setting a new record for wins in a season. Michael Schumacher won for Benetton in 1993, beating Prost by under a second. In a race also memorable for Mika Häkkinen out-qualifying Ayrton Senna at McLaren. Damon Hill won for Williams in 1994, beating teammate David Coulthard by 0.6 seconds, despite rolling in practice after a clash with Eddie Irvine. Coulthard scored his maiden F1 win for Williams in 1995, after Tyrrell's Ukio Katayama escaped from a huge start line crash. Jacques Villeneuve won the last F1 race at Estoril, following a sensational move around the outside of Schumacher at the final corner.